Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation here, Tuesday, the second week of Easter. And the meditation today is from the first reading, Acts of the Apostles, which I mentioned before I will do some days, because this is really the first history book of the church, written by a former doctor, St. Luke. Luke was a doctor, physician, and he was a Greek, converted to the faith, probably under St. Paul. So, the Acts of the Apostles starts today. The community of believers was of one mind and heart, and no one claimed that any of his possessions was his own, and they had everything in common. And then it goes on to say, with great power, the apostles bore witness to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, and great favor was accorded to them all. So this perhaps may not be the way this is understood or misinterpreted in our day, but maybe it's kind of resurging again. But when I was going through the seminary, that's talk about a Freudian slip. When I was going through the seminary, this was actually floating around because communism was still raging. This was somehow a validation of communism, you see. So they had nothing in common, like everything was owned by everybody. And therefore, this was like a rationalization for communism, or what they had in the early church was like the early seeds of communism. That's a bunch of nonsense. This has nothing to do with communism. Communism is a philosophy that, number one, denies the immortality of the soul, denies the possession of private property, and is antithetical to the dignity of the human person in general. So, and it actually crushes the person for the winepress of the state. So the state owns everything. And communism tends to strip the person of a desire for innovation, because it doesn't allow private property. So this has nothing to do with communism, absolutely nothing to do with communism. And the fact is that everyone here did not claim their possession, but it was all freely done, freely chosen. They had the right to keep their possessions. They had the right to donate their possessions. And this will come up later in the Acts of the Apostles. This is what's critical, is that Christianity protects and upholds and promotes the freedom of the person in legitimate matters. You're not free to do anything, but you're free to act in accord with the truth. You're not free to go out and slap somebody in the face. Although you may do that, you're going to be held accountable for that action. But you are free to do these kind of things. You're free to own things. But we're also free to know the truth. And, the truth is we're called to share of our blessings with others. But it's done freely. Nobody can force us to do this. However, when you do this freely, you experience a freedom, a joy. If you do this for the right reasons, you experience a freedom and a joy that you have actually given of what you have received. And God is so good to us that this desire to give back is something that's within all of us. And so this is something to really keep in mind. It has nothing to do with communism, everything to do with freedom and the nature of love, which seeks to communicate itself with the good of another. So reflect on how good God has been good to you, and freely discern where you can give. God bless you.